This video is about how to achieve a beautiful cover design on your photo book. If you were sent this video by someone in our support team, we probably noticed something in your book that can be improved by watching this video and following these design tips. The most common imperfection we see on cover design is uneven spaces around the edges of your cover design, key visuals getting cropped off like faces or text, or artwork that's squished too close to the edge. The easiest way to avoid these problems is to use the cover design options we've already made available for you in the editor. Here's where to find them. Make sure you clicked on the cover and then click on Options on the vertical navigation bar and choose Cover Layout Options. I'm currently on option 3, which is a full bleed cover. Choose option 2 and this gives you a full bleed picture on the top 2/3 and space for a nice title at the bottom. And option 1 gives a really nice crisp white border around the edges and space for you to make your title. Of course, you can make small tweaks to these, but this is the base design that will come out beautifully in print. These are available throughout all our album designs, including themes. Here I am on our Mother's Day theme with option 1, option 2, and option 3. Cover design problems can be avoided by understanding the red and green guidelines on the album maker we've drawn in that are there to help guide you. Namely, the safe area, that's that green line all around the edges of the cover design here, and it goes inside here. And that's a guideline that says keep everything important inside these green lines and use them to create even borders if you want borders on your book. And then there's the bleed line, and the bleed line means if you want your images to bleed off the page, run off the page smoothly and not appear like this, if this book was printed, there would be an ugly white line that just doesn't finish off this book nicely because the image provided doesn't go all the way to the bleed line. So it's going to look beautiful on this side, because you can see the picture comes all the way up to the bleed line. But here, the person has stopped the artwork just before the bleed line. And it's going to be a really disappointing result because you're going to have this beautiful image with beautiful title and artwork, and you're going to have this irritating white line that really just doesn't finish it off your book nicely. So to avoid annoying thin wispy white borders around the edge of your book, to have a full bleed option, you're going to carry your image all the way to the edge of that red bleed line. So let's do that together. We'll click on the image. You can see this is where the picture comes up now. I'm going to give it to the bleed line. Over here, it was given past the bleed line, and that's great. Anything past the bleed line is perfect. So let's leave that there. I'm going to take it over to the spine over here and all the way down to the bleed line there. If you want to be doubly sure, you can even go to that gray line. That even gives us a little bit extra, and that's handy too. So now I'm going to reposition my picture within the thing, and I'm going to do exactly the same on here. I'm going to go here and all the way to the spine line. And that is going to be a very nice book. Conversely, if you want a white edge around your a nice crisp border, design to the green line, the safe area. That green line there, I'm just going to pick up. The software helps you a little bit. It snaps to that green line and just makes it easy for you to land on the right place. It almost like wants to help you land on the right place, either the red line, the green line, or into that gray area past. And there we go. Let's have a look at that. That's going to be a beautiful book with an even, crisp, beautiful white border. It's not going to be uneven. It's going to be super nice. So to recap, if you want bleed, go all the way to the red line or past it. If you want a nice even border, use the green line because that will make sure it's measured nicely and evenly. I will add to that in the same vein, paying attention to the bleed lines and the green safe area. If you want to add a title, you're going to want to make sure you have nice contrast between the background and your text. And we're going to pop in our text. You are always going to make sure all of your text and all of your really important features are inside that green area. You can use this preview button to see how it's looking. I'd say that's a little bit too close to the edge. Let's move it in a bit just to give your design room to breathe. Let's have a look at that again now. I'd even move it down a little bit more. But my text and my people are well within the safe areas, and that is what is going to give me a good design. Okay guys, that's the main thing I wanted to share with you to get your cover design right. Just to recap, 2 main ways to make your cover design perfect. Number 1, use the cover design layout options we provide for you. Make sure you clicked on your cover, click on options and click cover design options and choose option 1, 2 or 3. Or design using the guidelines on the page. Make sure if you want your picture to bleed off the page, you give us images all the way to the edge of the red bleed line or beyond, and keep all your important designs inside the safe area. Keep text away from that edge, keep faces away from that edge, and that should make your design perfect. There's still more tips and tricks I can teach you about designing great covers, but that's going to be in the long version of this video. Just go to our YouTube page, find this exactly the same video, but the one that says long version, and click on that, skip through the first 5 minutes because that'll be what you just watched, and let me carry on showing you, if you're interested, how to perfect that cover even better. Good luck! For those who are still with us, what's wrong with this cover design? This is one that comes up quite commonly when you put borders on your pictures, which looks nice, makes them pop. I've clicked the picture here. You can see my border width is 2 millimeters, and someone's created a collage here. They've actually forgotten to put a border on this one. That was a bit of an oversight. So that can easily happen. And you can see the thickness of the lines just isn't exactly the same. Let's see. And there's a white border here and there's a big gap here, and this isn't going to print nicely, especially on this edge. You're probably not going to see this black border at all. Let's see where the, yeah, it's going to be uneven. I'll show you another example. Here, the design's been brought up to the spine. It's following the green line here, but just wasn't concentrating. This picture has gone over the bleed line. So this in production is going to look not very nice. You're going to have a border right up to the edge here, and you're going to have a border cutting off here, and this is where your picture ends without a border. So you have to be really careful if you're going to put a border on the frame of each picture, how you position it. For me, I would recommend that you follow the green safe area, you bring everything into the safe area, and you leave a nice gap between each picture to allow those borders to accentuate and make the picture pop like it's supposed to. Let's try and improve this design here and see if we can do that following these rules. So I'm going to bring everything into the green line, and I'm having trouble seeing it because green and blue. I'm going to bring the designs in, and then I'm going to make each one a little bit smaller perhaps so that it fits into the green design area. Let's fast forward this bit. So there's some improvement. I still wouldn't give myself full marks for this design because I would want these spaces to be even, and my pictures are different format size pictures. But if we press the play button, it's looking a lot better than it was before, and the effect that I wanted to achieve, having a blue border around each picture to make it pop, is going to be seen, and the border around the edge outside my pictures is going to be even, which will look nice. Let's try and do the same here and fix this one up. And I'm actually having trouble here. I've had to delete a couple of pictures. I can overlap, but that's not going to look nice. So I would probably, in this case, I've played around with it for a bit. I would probably move away from this design. I would go probably something, I'd probably go back to the recommended. And rather than have a collaged title, I'm just going to probably just make it like this because my collage isn't working. I'm going to make sure everything important is inside the safe area. That's a little bit out there, but I think that's okay. And those little hands don't bother me too much. So I would give that an okay. Let's press play and see it nicely. She's getting a little chopped off. Maybe I'll move it across a little bit to the left. Actually, I can't. I don't have any wiggle room left. I've only got up and down. That's okay. Maybe I'll move it back down and get his hands in. So that's kind of artistic. I don't mind that she's chopped off a little bit. If that bothers you, you would then change the picture. What have we got here? Let's see who's chopped off. It's me. Not too bad. So it's really a case of personal preference, But as you can see, my guidelines have helped me. That green safe areas help me tell me what is in the safe area and is that looking nice. And I think that's a lot better than the collages. Collages are tricky, guys. If you're going to do collages on the cover, be careful with them and make sure they have nice even amounts of space around the edges of them so the book finishes off nicely. One of the last things I want to show you guys is the fold line. And I didn't show it earlier because we don't want you to design to it. We just want you to be aware of it and use it to check your work at the end. Here it is here. You see the bright picture? That is my cover picture. And then it's opaque at the edges. So there's my bleed line. That's the extra bit of your book I'm going to steal to finish off the book nicely. And this opaque line here shows where the fold line is on the cover. So if I press the preview button, I'm going to see it very clearly. There it is there. So this bright part of the picture is how your cover is going to look, and here is where the paper is going to be folded over the edge and wrapped around and glued on the other side of the photo book to finish off the book nicely. Let me show you what I mean by that. Here's a photo book I made, and you can see around the edges here, see the grayed outline where I have the picture bleeding off the edge of the book. This sharp area here showing my picture in full view is going to be the facade, and this edge here is going to be the extra bit RapidStudio needs of my picture to take and wrap around the edge of my book so that they can finish off the book nicely. Here it is in print, and if I open up the book, you'll see the little bit that I'm talking about here. That's my picture wrapped around the edge to finish off the book nicely. On this example, it's kind of impossible to see the fold line because the background's white. But if I zoom in here, I can see it just here, and it's interfering with this text because look, I've put the text outside the safe area. So there's a little warning there to say there's something wrong. And if this gets printed, what's going to happen is this is going to be the very edge of your photo book, and half your text is going to be cut off and wrapped around the other side of the book. And you can imagine that's not going to look nice and be a disappointing result. And once again, that's a reason why the rule is so important to use the safe area as your guideline and make sure you put all of your designs inside that safe area. Let me show you a better example of this same book where the design rules have been followed. This is the same book. I've just moved his name from under there where it wasn't fitted in, and I've given nice contrast between the background and the text, and you can see that looks really nice. Here's the same one with a full bleed option rather than the crisp white border, and look how beautiful that's going to turn out. So much better than this one where I'm going to get a disappointing result on my text because I haven't followed the safe area rules.